No, but I can get a Rohan wax seal pendant. That's cool. You can get Lord of the Rings Location Guide Extended Edition.
Now, you know how we feel about our extended editions. A correct way, really any of it. Also, Ben, you sound very distant.
On.
Yes.
You might be using the wrong mic?
Yeah, for some reason my microphone wasn't connected to the streaming software, so let's see if it's not connected here as well. Yes, input device. How's that, gentlemen? Is that better?
Oh, so much better. Incredible.
There we go. Yeah, for some reason it just set to default, which I think is my webcam. I don't know why I did that, but...
Yeah, what is it with, I think it might be like the Windows updates. Every time I do it, everything just defaults to the wrong thing.
You know what? That sounds about right, because I'm sure I did an update on my computer not that long ago. So, and probably in between the last 2 times we've done anything, so that tracks.
Yeah, I did one the other day, and it defaulted my default to my monitor for audio. I was like, bro, I literally have speakers plugged in. Why are you doing this?
Why are you like this?
Yeah. Very weird. Very weird.
Very strange.
Also, I'm having the greatest and most nutritious dinner of mee goreng and maybe, hopefully, an egg.
Nice.
Oh, hell yeah.
I actually can't physically cook the egg. I've just realised that. Okay, guess it's just mee goreng.
I am having soup.
Son's egg.
Mee goreng and maybe half a raw potato. We'll see.
Luxury.
Yeah.
Why can you not physically cook the egg?
So, in the time I have available, I have like a mini pan, but my gas fucking sucks. So, it's like, it's the perfect pan, but I've already put the noodles on, and I'm like, fuck, I don't have time to cook the egg and put it in the mee goreng before it gets shit, and I'm like, alright, fine, whatever. So, like, I could cook it, but it's just, it's not physically possible, you know? The laws of
That
physics
sounds
are
like
against.
lack of planning to me.
Well, that's because it is!
Fuck you, I own a house.
God, I wish I could say, fuck you, I own a house, instead of, fuck you, I'm deep in debt, man.
Fuck you, I'm deep in debt. You know, fair enough.
Yeah.
At least you're in a house and deep in debt.
This is the golden combination. Or so you would hope, assuming that everything goes fine for the next 30 years.
Sorry.
Oh. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just super gross at the moment. Implying I'm not always gross, but you know. Oh, we can get a lot of pipes on this store.
Right. Are we feeling ready to kick off, or are we not quite there yet? What's the go? Shall I wait for you to finish getting your food ready, Nick?
No, we can go.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm still finishing eating.
I mean, same. I'm going on my soup still, so I have no problem.
So we can, we can pitter along. Are we being joined by others? Are they around?
Yeah, so I got a message from Steve saying he's going to join us hopefully around 8:30ish. And then I think Luke said he'd be here around 9ish because he's got plans beforehand. So I haven't got much of a plan for today's one. It's going to be a fairly short one anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Okay.
So I might go to bed early.
Just to recap what happened last time, you got to the town of Albowitz to find it basically deserted. You... fuck, sorry.
No, offered our services.
Yeah, I've got notifications coming up everywhere. What's going on? Right. Yeah, so you got to the town. There was virtually no one around. You managed to make your way to the temple of Alrik, and as you were doing that, you discovered, the remains, I guess, of the guys that you had locked up before. Just their hands.
Which, not the best.
That's
Not the
right.
best.
Um,
Not my fave.
you managed to get into the temple, and the grumpy Ulrik priest that you met previously, Brother Wolfram, was still there, and he sort of tells you a tale of misery as to, after you left the town in the sort of space of the 2 weeks that it's been since you left, the predations of the afflicted and the undead have increased dramatically, and pretty much all of the people that you met in the town previously, the sergeant, the 2 blacksmiths, the guild master, they've all been killed off in slow succession over the 2 weeks, and it's now just Wolfram, a small group of soldiers led by a young corporal, and a small group of civilians. You all make the sort of group decision that we've got to get out of this town, and we're going to take the civilians and all the survivors with us. So you load up the wagon. I think Wolfgang went on a bit of a trip around the town to see if there was anything valuable or anything useful that could be taken before they abandoned the town. And then you didn't evacuate. You managed to go 3 days on the road with no issues, and on the morning of the 4th day you were attacked by a bunch of afflicted civilians and some undead cavalry.
And we nobly and all helped in defending those townspeople. We all helped.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
I definitely remember Wolfgang doing a great deal of work.
Yeah.
Wolfgang was a beast. Unironically, a pure fucking just a machine of destruction.
The same could not be said for Ulrik.
I'm
It
definitely
did cost me like resolve and resilience though.
True.
But I
That is
thought,
true.
that's what I would do. That's on brand.
It was fucking tight.
And then so after you managed to finally vanquish everyone, we had to do some rolls to see how many of the civilians and soldiers had become infected.
That's right.
Roughly half of all of them. So, it's not half, probably more like a third of everyone who had survived the town. So there was a few mercy killings, and Wolfgang insisted that the bodies be brought back to Middenheim for burial. And we sort of left off with you just sort of mounting the sort of path, I guess you can call it, back into Middenheim. Like the mountains there, you're on the road, you're basically on the causeway heading up towards the gates, is where we sort of left off last time.
That's right. And Wolfram was fucked up, but we helped him.
Yeah, he's pretty beat up, but he's doing okay.
Wait, I thought he died in the end, didn't he?
He did not. No, we managed to get some. I think might have actually been Wolfgang managed to pull off a successful heal test and get him back on his feet.
Okay.
I think they gave him a healing thing too.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what we are. So you are very a much more somber party rolling up the hill back into the gates of Middenheim.
Hashtag humble.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
approaching dusk, so the guards are just about to close the gates when your party sort of comes in view of the gates, and one of them, they're about to sort of send you away when one of the watchmen recognizes you from your exit only not even a week ago. And they go, "Hello, I didn't expect to see you back so soon, and you've got a group of, look like country bumpkins with you."
These here are the refugees, lad. You go let us in?
This is the town of Albowitz. It's Albowitz, isn't it?
Alrik's teeth, is that all that's left of them?
Wait.
Regrettably, yes.
Oh.
Right, well, let's hold off closing the doors then, guys. Come on. Let them through. So, they were literally in the process of closing the gates, so they've stopped and they open the gates and allow you to head on through.
Right.
Oh. Okay. Good.
The gates close with a sort of finality behind you. You're once again within the safe walls of Middenheim.
Yep, the walls of Middenheim.
The big ass walls of Middenheim.
Big ass walls of Middenheim, yeah.
Right.
And the watch sergeant that you were speaking to was like, I think you probably best be taking these over to the Commission for Health and Welfare. They're probably the right people to speak to about. I mean, I guess where to rehome these poor souls.
That was just who I was thinking of. And perhaps they might have some questions for them as well about the plague.
Aye, you're probably not wrong there.
Hey.
Right. Well, I presume you know where that is then.
We do.
Hey, of course we do. One, hey. Do I know where it is?
Well, I know I've definitely been there before.
Yeah. I'm just
Like,
pinging it.
I mean, it was a while ago, but I do. Yeah, I remember it was over there in real life. But yeah, Wolfgang's been there before.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
last time. A while ago, like the first time we were sent out to the town. But
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So you make your way over there. Takes you probably at this time of night it's getting quieter on the street, so it doesn't take you too long, maybe 10-15 minutes or so. And you get there just as it looks like they're about to shut up shop for the evening. And the I guess clerk or whatever who was just closing the door says, "Oh my goodness, I recognise you lot. You went out to Albowitz a couple of weeks back. Have you just come back?"
We left on 1 weekends, hence. But this is all that have returned with us. This is the town of Albowitz. We have brought the town back with us. Those that we could.
Oh my, things are much worse than we feared then, I suppose. Right, well, he sort of looks around and spots a young water carrier. He says, "Oi, boy, you there, come here." And the young lad with a couple of buckets sloshing on his shoulders comes over and says, "Oh, what can I do for you? Can you run off to," and he rattles off a list of houses and says, "and fetch me back some of the staff. We've got a late emergency that needs to be dealt with." And the boy sort of goes, "Oh yeah," and then sort of stands there and looks at him. And the clerk does that classic sort of patting himself down, like, "Oh, I've got no coins on me."
You listen here, child. These folk have travelled for 3 days hard, beset by the foes of the forest and the undead. And you're older and you're better is trying to do something to help the people of this town. And so when they give you an order, they expect you to follow it.
Roll for me, please, an intimidate check. Average.
Easy.
Can I help him in any way with a quick, "Hey, and you can fuck off if you want any gold, love"?
Yeah, sure. Make that an assist then, so add 10 to that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That'd
Yep.
be +4, so yeah.
The kid is suitably cowed,
Yes.
and he runs off without managing to spill a drop from his water pails that he's carrying over his shoulders, which is quite impressive.
It's pretty good.
And suspicious.
The clerk reopens the door to the officers and says, "All right, well, whilst we're waiting for some of the staff to come back, come in, please. Let me see. I think we've got a meeting room I can house you all in. There's probably not enough room for you all just to wait in the reception area." And he sort of goes in and
I'm just gonna start helping people off the wagon.
Yeah, and like so the clerk goes in and starts, relighting, oil lamps and whatnot, and lighting candles, and leads you through into sort of. So there's a sort of a main sort of reception area, and then if you go down the hallway, and then just off to your right, there's like I guess like a meeting room, or maybe like a staff break room, maybe.
Mhm.
And so he starts ushering people in there. The soldiers, with Corporal Yance, they say, "All right, well, I appreciate the assistance, good souls, and many thanks for getting these brave civilians out of the town. But we probably report back to the army barracks now and report to our superiors."
Are you sure? Some of you have sustained injuries as well. Should you not rest here?
No,
Yeah,
the
that
barracks
is
is only
well.
the next block over. It's all right. We'll go there, and we've got Chirurgeons at the barracks who can tend to our wounds. Well, I thank you for your concern and for your assistance once again.
And to you as well.
The corporal gets his men together, and they set off at a brisk amble, I guess is probably the best way of describing it.
Risk
A brisk amble, yeah.
Nice. That sounds like
Slow
a nice
march.
sketch.
A very slow march, and definitely not orderly.
No.
Nice.
So after about maybe sort of 10-15 minutes, some of the sort of staff from the commission reappear, and they start speaking with some of the civilians. Two of them sort of corner Brother Wolfram for a bit there and start sort of interrogating him and asking him information. And the four of you, or five of you I should say, are also accosted by a couple of staff there asking you a bunch of questions. So the first one's saying, yes, I do recall that you went out and returned from the town of Elwitz, and then are you saying that you went back again?
Aye, we did. Aye.
Right. And who is this authorized by, may I ask?
I'm just gonna look at Wolfgang and be like,
Yeah, Ma.
Sigma! I guess, love?
Lucian, who's not present right now, but Lucian would pipe up and say that it's the Graf had made a sizable donation to both the Commission for Health and the Shalian Temple, and the Shalian Temple had organised another relief effort to go out there and had asked you guys to tag along as bodyguards for the convoy.
Which is all true.
Which is all true.
All true.
I mean, it might have been a month ago, but
Is that true? Sure.
Yeah. So after maybe about 20 minutes to half an hour of answering some questions and whatnot, they go, well, I think that's all we can need for the time being. You're more than welcome to rest here the evening, unless you have your own abodes elsewhere.
I am happy to return to my Temple of Sigma.
Well, I mean, I'll take the free hospitality if you're giving it, lad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Eyes light up. Tell me, do you have any dwarven ale around these parts? Per chance.
Don't let him near the dwarven ale.
Dwarven ale. No, but we could potentially arrange for some.
Bad answer.
I'm gonna clap my hands together and be like, hey, what a grand idea that would be! And let them do with me what they will.
And scene.
Ooh.
Cool. All right. Well, I will allow you all to make a average endurance test to see if you heal up some wounds over a good night's sleep.
That's the aim.
I will roll for.
Hell yeah, all those. Wait, do I have any wounds?
Oh, you might not be wounded. I don't know. I will roll
Look,
for.
I was incredible in that fight, so come out. I am unscathed. from that.
Unscathed.
Absolutely.
I don't seem to be scathed at all. I don't
You
think I
are
got close enough to be scathed.
completely descathed.
Unscathed.
Well, I'll do one for
I will
Lucian.
do one.
Cool.
Is it an easy endurance?
It's
or
average.
average?
Average endurance.
Should probably pass this. Well, I don't.
Wow. I mean, you don't lose any more wounds, so that's something.
No, I'm in good.
Healing wounds. SL plus your toughness bonus. Yeah, okay, cool. That's the answer I wanted to look for. So that is 3 plus 5. Fuck me, 8 wounds. Lucian's a tank. Alright, him back up to full health.
There we go.
Hello. Is that a Steve I can hear?
That is.
Hey.
There's a very quiet Steve, but a Steve nonetheless.
I apologize for being quiet.
That's alright. I'll just turn your volume up so I can actually hear you.
I'll boost myself first. Hold on. Is that better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good.
dense. Ooh.
Do you want to do an average endurance test for me?
Okay.
It's just to see if you heal up over a good night's sleep.
Has it changed?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
The sheets
Yeah.
changed?
It has a little bit. The sheet shouldn't have, but roll 20 has.
The first page I went on I hadn't seen before. Endurance. You're here somewhere. There we go. Average or
Yeah, average. No healing for you.
I mean, oh,
You did not get a good night's sleep.
no. It's just like
kinda needed.
Yes.
Oh well.
Alright, so the following morning. So Wolfgang, you went back to the temple?
Yes, I imagine the simpler thing. Yeah.
Yep. I would assume, Hiker, you would have gone back to the Wizards Guild.
Yeah, I would say so.
Cool. And I assume Lucian would have gone back to his own house. So it would have been just Johanna and Ulrich who would have stayed at the commission for the night.
Yeah.
So the following morning, one of the commission secretaries sort of comes up to you and says, "Oh, not to be a bother, but the offer of accommodation for the evening only extended to last night. I can't have you staying here any further."
Yep. That's how it usually goes.
I have also had word from one of the priests of Ulrich. I believe he's looking for one of his brethren here. Brother Wolfram says, "That'll be me that they're looking for then. Right, I guess I better go and face whatever judgment the temple has for me." And he turns to the two of you who are still there and says, "I thank you for your assistance in helping me get the good townsfolk out. It's much appreciated. Ulrich blesses you both." And
Yeah, sure, it feels like.
he will provide. He will do a blessing on you.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
He will give you a.
Excuse me.
Let's do that one. He's going to do a blessing of tenacity. So let me roll
Oh,
a prayer.
nice.
Let me roll a prayer test.
You've got the pick of destiny.
No, he does not. He calls to Sigma to Ulrich, but unfortunately, Ulrich does not answer him today.
Aw. Ulrich leaves him on red.
And so he heads off towards the temple. What do the two of you do whilst you are still at the commission? Do you hang around, or do you head off to go and find out what the others are up to?
Yeah. Can walk off the hangovers.
Yeah, I think that's the number one thing is just walking off the hangovers and finding everyone else being like, where are they? Where are they?
I was going to make my way over to there too, basically fairly early, and like if people need accommodation, I'm sure that the tourists would very happily offer it to the villagers and stuff too.
It's perfect. It's all going according to plan.
That's lovely.
So I would assume you two would, the three of you would probably meet roughly, depending on how early Wolfgang got up, probably not too far away from where the commission is. Do you then about face and go back to the commission so you can pass on this information, I assume?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So they're quite thankful for that information. A lot of the townsfolk are good.
Like I didn't even bother asking, but also because I was like I'm happy to let that story play however it plays out. But I tell the people in the villages, I say, if you are looking for somewhere to stay, then the Temple of the Temple of Sigmar, and tell them that Brother Wolfgang sent you.
They're all good Sigmar worshipping members of the Empire, so they are.
Sure.
They're very thankful for this. A lot of them are flipping you off with, some gang signs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, nice.
So it's probably around this time that Hiker will be back at the Grand Guild. Hiker, you will be pulled aside by a member of your of the Grey, I guess, not Grey College because it's not the college here, and a fellow Grey Wizard, let's say, who is of a higher ranking than you are. And they'll say, Madam Hiker, a moment of your time, please.
Of course. What can I do for you?
Come with me, please. And they lead you down into a basement level of the Grand Guild. Which, as soon as you enter it, I'm not even going to need you to make a secret science Grey College test. You can tell that this is sort of the area that the wizards who study the Grey magic have claimed as their own. It's somewhat secretive and obfuscated from the rest of the guild. And the wizard turns back to you and says, your efforts have been noticed within the city of Middenheim and its surrounds. We appreciate what you have done for us and for the good of the Empire. I understand that you yourself are a relative newcomer to the city.
Yes, but as you know, it is our calling, our job to do, and we must do it.
Indeed. And you appear to have risen to the task, and as such we believe it is appropriate to honour you with the title and rank of Grey Guardian.
I will bow.
You have already taken an apprentice, I understand?
I am in the beginnings,
Excellent.
early stages.
Excellent. Train him well in our ways. As a Great Guardian, you are responsible not only for the preservation of the Empire, but the preservation of all mankind. You may find yourself sometimes here in Middenheim, sometimes abroad, but no matter where you go, you will be. Oh my god, that fucking cat!
I was gonna say, is that a cat?
Bronx has been a fucking menace.
He
Um,
wants to join in.
I'm sure there's plenty of cats down here.
Um,
All black.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, naturally.
It is your responsibility to ensure that he is trained correctly, and when appropriate, return him either here to the Grand Guild for his final testing, or to the Grey College in Altdorf.
As I am a graduate of Altdorf, I plan for him to be the same. If the training goes well.
Of course, not all are suited to the life of the Grey.
That is very true.
Does he have the aptitude? Do you know?
I wouldn't have taken him on if he didn't. But whether that becomes what it needs to be will remain to be seen.
Indeed. An answer worthy of the Grey College. One final thing. Upon elevation to the title of Grey Guardian, it is customary for the new incumbent Grey Guardian to pass on a magical artifact to aid in your everlasting mission. And he withdraws from within the folds of his robe a dagger, which if I are you gonna open? You're not gonna open. It should be in your journal, Steve.
Oh, journal.
Yeah. It's not letting me open it, but it should be there. The dagger itself looks fairly mundane. It doesn't look like... It's not a very fancy looking dagger. It's not got any sort of, sort of arcane sigils or like frippery to it. It looks like a plain old dagger. Slightly curved, but otherwise a standard dagger that you could see anywhere and probably purchase in any town with a decent blacksmith. But the more you look at it, and particularly with your second sight, you can see that the blade itself seems to be, whilst it looks solid, it appears to be insubstantial. Almost like it's made of solidified shadow itself.
Ooh, very interesting.
And I don't know if you saw my message or not, but the stats for it.
Yeah.
It's basically in game. It's got an ability called Wreathed in Shadow, which means it ignores non-magic armor.
Yeah, I just read that.
Yeah.
And it's got the fine quality.
Yes, and it's got the fine quality and unbreakable.
Oh, excellent.
And
Well,
magical, but that makes sense because it's magical.
Yeah. As I am as the Order is a tool for mankind, and I am a tool for the Order, this shall be a tool for me.
Justly spoken. Justly spoken. Now, I believe that your fellow adventurers are seeking you out.
Of course, I have disturbing news. I will speak to you later, perhaps.
Indeed.
Alternative.
And he sort of nods you out, and you sort of head back up into the daylight and out into the city proper. You find the group of the party sort of just at the commission. I guess sort of just milling. Lucian's joined them by this point as well. Is Oswald in tow, or is he still at the guild itself?
I think now that I'm here, he would be here.
Yeah, cool. The guys haven't probably really met Oswald, I think, other than in passing. Would you care to describe Oswald to the party?
They did meet him. He came into the session this time.
Oh,
but he's a fairly big like Northman looking fellow. He's young, but he's like quite stockily built.
I knew we'd met him. I hadn't had a description, but yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
like shortish hair, but he's like quite muscly. Doesn't really look like what you would expect a wizard to look
Mhm.
like. Looks like a lumberer, like a labourer, kind
Yeah,
of,
He's
but
a-
better dressed.
Yeah, sure.
He's a labourer in a dress who's attempting to learn the ways of shadow magic.
It would be perceived that way, yes.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Neat.
So as
I
you're all
rolled
sort of
stupid high on his strength, so I was like, all right.
Look, he's muscular for the shadows.
So as you're all sort of just milling around there, Steph, someone sort of, I guess, shoulder checks you. Sort of, they accidentally sort of get a little bit too close and just sort of catch you as they try to step past you.
I want to like immediately check that I haven't been pickpocketed.
Excellent. I was hoping you would do that. Please roll for me a perception test.
I know how this game goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like that's a
Can I
classic
smell if
Grift
I've
if
been
I ever saw one.
pickpocketed? Yeah, I
Do
know,
I
right?
smell less gold than usual?
Do I smell less rich? What's the difficulty?
I'm gonna say, considering your occupation, that it's gonna be easy.
Nice.
I'm not trying to point grub too much, sorry, but may I have some resolve or something back, given my shepherding of Sigmar's smoke as my motivation?
That does sound like an appropriate thing for me to give you some back. Sure. Let me
Yeah,
quickly just check the stats for
Which
that.
I forget which one comes back or whatever, but I am formally requesting that I have some of my points that I have spent returned to me because I feel I have roleplayed my character and his motivations fairly strongly.
All right. As for resolve, yes, I would say that you can. You may recover. Yeah, I will say that you may recover one of your resolve points for that. Certainly.
Right. Sounds good.
Resilience is a lot harder to get back. So.
I don't know. I get that. I'm the main person who's been spending resolve. I think.
I have
I-
0 as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, but like we both do a fair bit of stuff that's pretty well to our thing as well, but we've never needed to recover it. So that's all. But I figured that I
also
read.
have no resolve.
Oh, okay.
And I've spent 3.
Okay. Good.
I only have a baseline of 1. So
Yeah. Right. Okay.
that's why I spent my 1 resolve.
I've got a baseline of 4. So yeah.
I had 4 fate, now I have 2.
Yeah.
I spent 2 fate.
Yikes.
I think I got mine back before we came to Mindenheim, but I haven't got it back since then.
Yeah.
So, unclear.
Yeah. Resilience, I realise, is a harder one to get back. That's
Yeah.
when you do something super cool.
Resilience and fate are very hard.
Yeah. So that's fair. That's valid.
Okay, so Steph, you've rolled a success, which is great. So your purse is still there. It doesn't appear to be any lighter. However, there is something that wasn't there before tucked into your waistband.
It's anti-money.
It's put pocketing.
It's put putting Hamish and Andy. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna grab and have a look at what it is.
Sure. It's a small scrip of parchment, which appears to have writing on it.
Well, fuck.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna wordlessly hold it out to the people who can read. Because I am wordless, because I can't read.
You're pointing that at me.
I'll lean in and
Yeah,
squint
same.
at the script.
It.
We can do that shared reading thing, which is really awkward when both of us. are
Oh
trying to
my
read the
god,
same
we can
thing.
all do a line.
Yeah.
Let's do that. The two of us who can read,
Okay,
obviously.
now.
Fuck's sake.
So, it's a rather very small writing, but very precise. Like, so despite its size, it's clearly legible. And it's asking for Mistress Johanna to meet with a representative of the Good Baron at the was it the Templar's Downfall? Hang on, I've got it written down somewhere. The Templar's Arms.
As I read,
at noon today.
as I read that, I say, it's not good news. It seems the Thieves Guild have put a mark out on you.
Oh, how much?
Yes, the
How much are we
Oh.
talking?
I just grin and say, nah,
yeah.
you're requested.
Oh,
some
I was gonna
baron
say
at
one of
noon.
you could hand me in, and then we could break me out and make some money.
Well,
That's
Wait,
disappointing.
we have a plan for when it happens in the future.
Yes,
Awesome, where are we
exactly.
I'm
meeting?
sure it will.
Yes.
I'm literally reaching for my manacles, being like, wait, so there's not.
There's
They
not.
don't want money for it.
They don't.
No, I
They
was joking.
never do.
I slowly.
They want us. They want Johanna at the Templar's Arms.
At noon, specifically.
Yes.
Alright. What's the time now?
It's
I don't
Sort
carry a watch.
early morning.
So got a little bit of time.
You got a bit of time.
Okay, let's do
Ah.
some errands first.
Has anyone told the commission how close we were attacked to the town?
That would have been some of the questions that they asked the party when
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. We
Because
weren't
it was
not
close.
specifically, but I think it was very close. I think we've,
Pretty
well, I
damn.
think it assumes that we told them that, I suppose.
Okay. Cool.
Right, so you've got a couple of hours to kill before you've got to make your way to the Templar's Arms. And you, having sort of walked past the Templar's Arms before, you're like, ooh, that's a relatively upmarket part of the city. It's in the Geldmund district.
That's not bad.
What is is it the son of the boss dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bastard son, but son nonetheless.
Yeah, that we all met and was like, you guys might be useful.
Yes.
Rude.
That's right. Cool. Okay.
I will meet you all there at noon. I'm assuming
Alrighty.
Oswald is like wearing what do you call it? Like academics robes.
Yeah, I guess he can be wearing whatever you want him to be wearing.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go buy him like some nondescript clothing that would fit, like you wouldn't look out of place in like a more upscale area, or if you're in like a rundown bar, you would kind of, that grey middle ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent use of the word grey there.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But
As the same clothing that I wear, basically.
Although now that you're a Grey Guardian, you are able to access what are known as standard robes.
Ooh. That
I
sounds.
will. They will be folded up in my suitcase in my bedroom, and I will only wear them if I'm going to some sort of grey wizard thing.
Well, interestingly
Otherwise-
enough, I was going to say you might change your mind when I tell you what standard robes actually do.
Okay.
Actually, there's actually a benefit to wearing them.
Okay, then I may change my mind.
So, part of the new sort of magic rules that they have brought out is that if you're wearing different grade robes that are matched or suited to your coloured magic, you'll get a bonus to spellcasting,
Okay.
depending on the quality of the robes, and whether or not it is sort of in keeping with your order. So, standard robes, which you have just acquired, give you +2 success levels to channeling tests.
Oh, snap.
cool.
That's pretty good.
Alright, so they will be in my backpack then, and
Yeah.
I'll put them on before battle.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so you're off to go and
So,
buy some
What
clothes
was
for
it,
your
+2
apprentice.
to channeling or success levels?
+2 success levels to channeling tests.
Alright.
Oh shit.
So keen to go buy him some clothing like that and then meet the party
Sure.
at this tavern.
Sounds good. I'll say that you managed to acquire him some clothing. Probably costs you around, let's say, 6 silver. Because you don't want it to be too crap quality, but you want it to be not great quality either. That happy medium.
I want it's like good quality but drab
Yep.
clothing looking.
Yep. What do the rest of you do for the couple of hours you've got to kill?
Do some sightseeing.
Actually, I'll buy him a sword as well, but I'll work out what the price for that was.
Yeah, sure.
I may as well just give him my sword.
What was it?
Oh, no.
I want to go buy a like a spyglass, telescope.
Yeah, sure thing. I'm fairly sure we can do that. Let's have a look.
So it would be a weapon. He would just have a token after purchasing it, yeah. Because we don't have weapons in town.
Yes, you can purchase a weapon,
I can
but
purchase it, but it will be held.
it will be held. Yeah.
I'll just get like the docket or whatever.
Yep. All right. Hang on.
But I can use my new dagger because daggers are allowed. That's it.
Nice.
Telescope. Okay. Yeah. It is. Oh, they're not cheap.
How much are we talking?
5 gold.
How dare you?
I can afford it.
Oh. And also they're pretty. It says they're rare, so I think that means that you should be able to find it in a town. Oh, sorry, a city of this size.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see if you can actually find one before we go any too much further.
Why? What should I?
Just. No.
Yes, I'm
No.
so.
Just as in you just failed.
I'm so bad at shopping.
God, the savageness of that reveal.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
That was
Oh.
mean.
Oh.
But fair enough.
Yeah, so rare items in a city, there's a 45% chance of finding it, so you need to roll a 45 or lower.
What the hell is wrong with this game?
So
Seriously.
you look. So one of the people that you speak to says, "Oh, I just sold my last one. Would you believe it? And I have to wait
I
for.
would.
I'll have to import some more from Marienburg.
Well, perhaps you could send me a message when you do.
Certainly, madam. Certainly.
Lovely. Thank you.
The other two of you, just sort of chilling.
I've got a commission in mind, but it might take a little bit of time. It's not going to be something I can do right now. I think it'll take a bit of time.
Okay. I mean,
So I'm just trying to read through the rules a bit about it. So I guess I'm probably just at the church. I've gone back to back to the thing and resting and recuperating and praying. I want to talk to the people who come back from the village.
Yep.
Right? Talk to the Alberwitz villagers a bit more. Minister them spiritually.
Yep.
See if any of them have got any other stories, any other flavors to add, any insight into Babrikos.
so make me
about fucking killing Babrikos now.
make an average gossip test.
Cool.
Oh,
Boom.
second crit of the day.
Nice.
The stories you get from them are mostly variations on the same themes you've already heard.
Yeah.
You don't really sort of garner any new information. Some of the people have obviously gotten their sort of timelines a little bit muddled because obviously a lot of horrible things have happened to them in like the space of 3 weeks essentially.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And some of them are remembering, oh, this person died on this day. Oh, or was it that other person? I can't remember. But for the most part, the general broad strokes of the story are the same.
Yeah.
You don't learn any further information from them about it, which you're fine with not hearing any further horrors from that forsaken town.
Sounds good.
Hmm.
Cool. So I don't really learn any extra.
Nothing
stuff at
new.
this point. No, that's fine. That's cool. But that's all. I'm still just that was the point. Just chat to them and
So Ulrich, anything from yourself, or just sort of drinking
I've
heavily?
already alerted that place that what's his name is basically infected and gone, haven't I?
Sorry.
I think I did. You know, there was that guy who was wanted, and then we found his friends who were like, "Oh yeah, he's in the woods," and then
Yeah.
we basically killed him.
Yes.
I've already informed. It wasn't the Commission of Public Works. It was some other.
No, there was a lady who had put up the wanted poster. His wife, or I guess widow now.
Yeah, I've already told her that he's a goner, right?
I don't believe you have.
I think now might be a good time to do that.
There's been a few weeks.
Quite possibly.
While I'm actually gonna purchase some leather like jack and leggings for him, can I do a haggle to see if I can get the overall price down?
Yeah, sure thing.
Just quickly.
Let's call it challenging.
Okay.
No.
Is that the right one? I've got so many value things popped up. Oh no, it was the right one. Okay, cool. No worries. I'll just pay full price.
Cool. So you make your way. Where did I say she was? She was in the Sudtor district, didn't I? Somewhere around there. Or the Sudgarten. Yeah, I think it was more Sudgarten than Sudtor. So down this way, roughly.
Yeah.
So you make your way back down to that sort of somewhat shadier part of the city. And you find her house again. At first, she opens the door and she's sort of a bit suspicious because, as she mentions, when she finally lets you in, there's been a spate of burglaries in the area. People have sort of been knocking on doors, and when they've been opened, they've forced their way into the house and stolen valuables and goods and whatnot. She finally lets you in, and you can see that she's kind of, I don't want to say lost hope, but I guess like she seems a bit more resigned than she was before. Like when you last saw her, there was like a glimmer of like, well, maybe he's just lost, or maybe he's injured somewhere, and they'll find him. But now that seems to have gone. She seems kind of settled on the idea that he's gone now.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So I'm assuming you inform her then?
Excuse me.
What? Have a seat, I guess. You may want it. So, I did a bit of looking, and I think I may have found your man, but not in the way that you would hope. Turns out they're up north. There was is Alwitz up north?
Yeah, it's north.
Up north, in town of Aldwitz, we were going around, having a chat with the peeps, and we found that there was a bit of a plague going around. I'm sure you've heard of it, eh? We brought in a few of the denizens, eh? But your husband, unfortunately, was taken by said plague, and there's no, unfortunately, any hope for that one, if you know what I'm saying, last year.
And she sort of sighs and casts her eyes downward, and then she looks up at you with I guess sort of there's a sort of like a look of relief. She's like, oh, well, at least I know now. I suppose. I had a feeling that was going to be the case, but well, it's better to know, I suppose.
Hey, indeed, lass, indeed.
Well, I can't say I'm terribly thankful for the news, but I'm thankful for your efforts, Master Dwarf. I do believe I had some recompense for you.
You did, lass. Aye, that is true.
I don't remember what it was.
Let me have a look.
I'm hoping you've got a note as to how much she offered.
Oops, that is a different notebook. Whoops. Oh god, how long ago was it?
At least 3 years.
In real life? God
Yeah.
damn. I'll give it a look.
Cool. I have a feeling it was around 2 gold from memory.
I think it was either 2 or 3, yeah.
Anyway, so she scrounges around and disappears out into another room, and then comes back and with a small little black wooden box, which she opens up, and she hands you a big old handful of silver and copper coins, which will equal, let's say, 2 gold.
Sure. Chuck it on then.
And she's like, well, Ulrik bless you.
No need for Ulrik's blessings. I'm a dwarf, not some common folk, you know what? But I'll take it all the same, eh? I'll take my leave.
Cool. Alright. So, I would say roughly by this time it's approaching noon, so I guess you all congregate at the Templar's Arms, which is around here on the map.
Oh, so central.
Nice.
So you all make your way there. Now, the Templar's Arms, it is a 2-story tavern of average quality. It's quite plain, but there's a happy and cheerful vibe about the place. The eagle-eyed among you would notice that there is a shield painted hanging above the door, which displays a knight of the Order of the White Wolf in full plates on a horse with all the trimmings, and full charge with lance lowered, all that sort of stuff. And as you enter, you find that this sort of knightly theme is continued inside. There's lots of suits of armor sort of standing in corners with weapons, and there's weapons like hanging off the walls in racks and whatnot. And this place is quite commonly filled with soldiers, and at this time there is no exception. There is quite a large gathering of soldiers and off-duty knights who are taking their luncheon ease. So you walk into the building. You don't know who it is you're to meet. You're not sure if you're meeting the Baron himself or if you're meeting a representative of the Baron here. The note wasn't exactly clear.
It was just him that was summoning. Correct.
Yeah.
But it didn't enter he's there.
Yeah. Can all of you make for me, please, a average perception test?
Oops, I closed both my character sheets.
Deception, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't involve hearing?
It does not involve hearing.
Yes. Oh. I still failed quite badly.
Is one of you going to pass? Yes. Marvelous. All right.
Forgot that my mic was off. Never mind.
So
Yeah.
Hiker spots a nice. Hiker
He doesn't.
spot.
I don't get to choose like average or challenging with his character sheet for some reason.
Do you not?
Yeah, it just goes straight to success levels. I don't understand.
That's weird. Hang on.
Don't worry about it for now.
It's piqued my interest, so I'm going to see if I can't fix it. Query difficulty. Yep.
Oh.
It should be on.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Retry, roll, something
Yeah.
else. No, it just goes straight to input value, target bonus, and then
Weird.
submit.
Yeah, it does the same for me as well. That's odd. Alright, well, that's going to be something I will try and fix later, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. So, Hiker, you spot there is a scruffy-looking soldier who is sitting opposite the door as you entered on the far side of the tavern, who, when you walk in, he sort of looks up and sort of looks at you very keenly, and then sort of nods his head towards you and then sort of tips his head back as if to say, so you can, over here.
Yep. Come on then, and I'll start heading over towards him.
So, he's sitting at a sort of private, I'll say private, a small little booth at the back of the tavern. And you all sort of pile in around him. None of you did very well on the old perception tests. Let's see if Lucian does any better.
I did get 3, but it wasn't impressive.
Let's see if Lucian does any better. No. Okay, that's fine.
Same.
Alright, so this soldier sort of leans in and says, to you, Hiker, would you be Madame Johanna?
I won't take offense. No, that is her. And I'll point.
Ah, my apologies then. You must be Madame Hiker then.
That is correct.
My lordship has summoned you, I understand?
Yes, quite unusually.
That is his way. After all, he is the spy master for the city.
Makes sense.
It has come to my master's attention that you potentially are on a quest to find some dwarven star metal.
Yeah, for the hand, and I hold up the mangled hand.
I see. And it's also been brought to my attention that to do this you intend to go to Karak Khazarak, is that correct?
That was the plan, indeed.
It is one of our agendas.
And the dwarven smiths you've been speaking with, have they made mention as to how much gromril they expect there to be?
Not really. They didn't seem like they expected much.
I think they more didn't expect us to survive.
Yeah.
I see. Well,
That would be a lack of faith.
as you are probably well aware, gromril is very rare and quite sought after by the right artisans and the right smiths, as it were. Understandably, you're there for your own personal reasons. You wish to get this prosthesis made for yourself. But should there be any gromril left over from this enterprise, my master would certainly be interested in acquiring it for a fee, of course.
Of course. I'll certainly keep that in mind, of course.
My master has also said that the timing of such an endeavour is of great import, and that with the oncoming of winter, the greenskins who currently occupy Karak Khazarak will be, well, let's say they'll be quieter than usual. They know that during the winter time, the hosts of Middenheim return home. They will not be expecting attack. So this might be almost the opportune time to launch an offensive against them. They'll catch them off guard.
Ah, that is good to know. Thank you.
To this end, my lord has arranged for some troops to be made available to you.
That is most generous.
It would.
How much gromril does he want?
Well,
Actually, I should say, how much does he need?
my lord, or the runesmith
Yes.
crafting hikers.
No. The Lord.
Well, as I understand it, any gromril that can be spared once Madame Johanna here has enough for her own needs.
It is not for something he has in mind that he needs a certain amount, or is he just trying to get as much as he can for the future?
Well, I mean, as you may or may not be aware, gromril is a very rare and precious metal.
I am aware, but he is supplying us with troops, and I don't feel you do that just for the good nature of it. He must have some expectation.
Roll for me a gossip test. I'm going to say average, and I'm going to oppose it. Okay, cool. Let me just get the stats for this guy. Where are we? Oh, no, you'll be there. Okay. Yeah, okay, you do actually succeed in that one.
I only ask because, say we're in a situation where we need to flee and we can only grab so much. If there was a certain amount that he really needed or preferred, obviously anything extra would be a boon, but say we could only grab so much.
Let me put it to you this way. The gromril itself would be an added bonus to an otherwise perilous mission if you are to succeed.
So his main goal is clearing out some orcs.
His
And
main
if he gets some gromril,
his main hopes is that with your willingness to enter Karak Khazarak and with the assistance of my good lord and some troops, you might be able to at the very least create a beachhead into the lost Karak Khazarak, with the hopes that we can lead further forays into it, and maybe one day we can reclaim that the lost dwarven hold for the dwarves of Middenheim.
well, that certainly seems to align with what our friend would want, no? And I look down at Alrik. And he's passed out drunk. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, fuck's sake."
The dwarves, the dwarves of Middenheim have well, there has been a long many centuries since they've been driven out completely from the Middle Mountains, and for them to be able to return to their ancestral hold, I imagine a large portion of them would remain here in Middenheim. It is their home and has been for centuries now. But to be able to return to their ancestral keep, I feel would bring great pride to the Middenheim dwarves, and that pride and I guess generosity would hopefully flow back towards us for having assisted them in reclaiming their home.
Of course, we do not do it for this, but if it comes to pass, that would be an extra boon as well.
Indeed. So I understand, well, my lord understands the scarcity of gromril. Should there only be enough for the purposes of crafting this device for Mistress Johanna, then so be it. There is none left to be gotten. Then there is no ill will there to be held.
It is if he does not ask, he will not receive. So he may as well ask.
Precisely.
I mean, I don't know how much we all can do on what has currently happened. Perhaps it is time for a distraction.
Well,
And if that distraction is driving greenskins out of an ancient dwarven hold, then I'm sure myself and Sigmar would be keen.
I unpass myself out and go, "Oi! Oi!" And I pass out again.
well then, I have been told to pass on that the military assistance that we can provide will be awaiting for you at Dunferta Castle in a week's time.
And what distance is Dunferta Castle?
You've got Oswald there, don't you?
I do.
Get him to make a law Middenheim test. Average.
Well, just remember that it's got plus only. Oh, he succeeds anyway.
Cool. He pipes up at that point and says that it's about a 4 days ride towards the Middle Mountains. It's right on the edge of the sort of duchy of Middenheim and the border with the Middle Mountains.
I reckon I know that because I'm from there.
Yeah, you would
Around
you
that
would know that
area.
as well. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
In fact, that might even be probably your nearest sort of nobleman's residence to where you
I
grew up.
reckon. Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of days to prepare, and we must set off.
Hey,
Tell the Baron we will be joining his troops.
Excellent. I will pass that on to my good lord.
And I'll say a pleasure and bow, and I'll turn to walk away.
And he sort of nods and sips at his ale. And yeah, that's it. You head on out of the tavern. You've got about a week in Warhammer is 8 days, so you've got about 4 days to prep, and then 4 days to get there.
Alright. Now, my concern is, do I take Oswald or not? Because he could die. I mean, I could die.
I don't know if you see my message or not, Ben. Is
Where-
that something that I could do in a week, or?
Ooh, I have not looked. Sorry.
Sorry, it's on Discord.
Yep. I don't.
Or whether it might take longer than that, or more money than I have, or whatever. But I would probably go and speak to the smith who we spoke to about Johanna's hand.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let me have a look. I have a feeling this is going to take longer than what time we've got available.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it definitely could be one of those things that you can get it started at the very least.
That's what I was sort of thinking. Yeah.
So, did we get XP? Sorry, this is random for our party short term.
Which party short term?
Well, mine says resolve the current crisis in Alderwitz, but I don't know if that's what our party short term actually was.
Well, I had that I had that down too. I actually just saw that like not long ago, just then.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think I only set my short term to save the survivors in Alderwitz for my personal one last session because I didn't think we were gonna. It was before we got to Alderwitz, and I feel like that I literally just set it and then pass it, and it doesn't really make sense to me. So I'll redo that one.
Let us have a look.
I might make my current one to find gromril in. I just find gromril works.
Yeah, look, I think that can be deemed completed. Your short-term party goal, resolving the crisis in Albowitz. That's 50 XP.
Oh.
Right, so let's see. You've got 4 days. Let's treat this 4 days as downtime, if you will.
Okay.
So I will enable you each to undergo one endeavor.
Do we want to make the current short-term find gromril for Johanna's hand for the party?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell gromril?
Like you think it is.
Grom.
Gromril.
Gotcha.
1L or double L?
1L.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna have my personal short-term help the Baron create a front head in the Dwarven name. If that's
I've got my I've written a party long term of bring an end to Babracos. Do you think that's a good idea for a party long term goal?
I still have this set up a monster hunting business of around
Yes,
for now.
yeah.
But we could change it to put an end or to Babracos. I'm okay with that.
I'll just put also put an end to Babracos.
Yeah. Well, so that's a long term one.
Yeah.
Like long term party goal. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, whilst we're gonna do sort of a downtime, you can do an endeavor type thing. I'm gonna say that it's not going to be so long in between the previous adventure and this one that you will burn all of your cash. So
Cool.
Ooh.
enabling you to
Thank
still
you.
theoretically have your cash on you. So I'm not gonna make you have to spend your single endeavor on banking.
Great. That's kind.
Yeah, well, I figure it's because it says here in the rules that it's supposed to be one endeavor a week, so it's going to be less than a week. So I figure you've only really got a couple of days to sort of
Yeah.
maybe get something done or do some training or whatever that might be.
What's the name of the Dwarven hold again?
Karak Khazarak. I can put it in the chat if you like. Hang on.
It's I can do it. Phil. No, I will get that first. Yeah, son of a bitch.
You're so
Yeah.
close. You're so close.
What? What do you mean? That's it. Karak Khazarak.
I just spelled it correctly.
Ah.
It's Karak is without the KH. Khazarak is with a KH.
Sorry, I had
just-
the umgak spelling.
I just spelled it like I thought it would be, and I got it right.
Nailed
That
it.
never happens. Usually I'm way off. So I put my personal short term as help the Baron retake a part of Karak Khazarak.
All right. So, Alex, you want to start the process of a
Of a commission,
commission?
yes.
Okay. I think the first part of this is going to be consulting an expert.
Sure.
So I think that's going to be what, if that's what you would like to do, that will be the endeavour that you can do during this period.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Cool. So, you have an idea of who it is you want to speak to. You want to speak to the Dwarven runesmith that's
I think so, yes.
yeah. And so you make your way to the Dwarven Guild of Engineers.
Mm-hmm.
And after making some very polite inquiries, as you are, inherently respectful to dwarves, you end up meeting Malachi Mackayson, the or as everyone calls him, Mad Malachi.
Great.
And he. So I guess describe to him what it is that you want to do.
I will do that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Can you call me please a charm test?
Mm-hmm.
Just average.
Sure. Hey.
Nice. And he says, "Hey laddie, I see what you mean. I reckon that's something that I can do for you."
I tell him the whole story of the item
Yep.
that I have and what I want to do, and how I want to incorporate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And he says, "Do you mind if I take this for a moment?"
No, please.
And
I would be honoured.
He looks at it and judges its heft and goes, "Aye, right. I can do it, but it's going to take time.
Of course.
Do you have a need for this for the time being?"
I would be more than happy to leave it in your wise hands. It is a tool of smiths, and you are a master smith. And so, of course not. You may, of course, please keep it as long as you need to achieve this noble goal.
Alright, okay, then there's the final matter, and I do hate to tell you this, but there will, of course, be a cost involved as well.
Of course.
Now, let me see. Constituting this is something like that. So we will say. Alright, I'm going to say it's going to cost you around. I reckon this is going to cost you probably around 8 gold.
That's more than generous.
I'm happy to take a down payment and receive the rest upon the completion.
I can, in fact, give you 8 gold right now.
That's grand of you.
And I do so.
Marvellous. Alright. Let me write
I might, in fact, and may I offer one more to buy yourself a drink or keep yourself well in your cups, or to add something extra special to it if you feel you're able.
Oh, that's awfully kind of you, laddie. I'll do my utmost.
9 gold.
9 gold. Perfect. Alright.
Yeah.
Let me just write a note for myself.
I will surrender the item, obviously. Obviously happy to pass over, but I'll be back in a minute or two.
Yep, that's alright. Just write a note for myself for that one. Cool. So that is Wolfgang's endeavour. Who would like to do the endeavour next?
Still thinking.
Don't all shout out at once.
I'm thinking.
I'd like to learn how to read a bit.
Excellent. Sounds good. Is read write a part of your career path?
I don't know if it is.
If you go to your advances tab on your character sheet, and then if you open up your career tree, it should tell you if read write is a talent.
Let me take a look. So, advances. Career tree. Not seeing it.
Okay, that's fine. You can learn stuff outside of your career path. That's not a hassle. So, right. So first things first. Have you attempted to learn to read before, or am I thinking of someone else?
Don't think so.
Okay, cool. Fortunately for you, there are a number of people in the party who know how to read. I'm going to boldly assume that one of them is happy to teach you. I'm going to say...
Wolfgang would be.
I would say that Wolfgang certainly would be fine to teach you. That seems as a part of his duties as a good man of Sigma.
Yeah. I might do it, but I'd probably want to get paid.
Yeah. Alright, so... to start off with, there is a fee involved. So that is... Oops, it would help if I could actually bloody type anything. Cool, okay, it's going to cost you six shillings.
Alright, can do.
And then I need you to make for me, please, a hard intelligence test.
Oh dear. Sorry, just getting it to load. Come on. Hard. Alright, let's give this a go. Come on. Oof.
Oof.
A is for spaceship.
Okay. Alright, so that is a fail. That's fine.
Yup.
Can you make a note on your character sheet somewhere that the next time you attempt to do this, you'll get a +10 modifier to that roll, so it'll get a little bit easier each time you try.
Alright, let me see if I can make notes.
I think you can do that on your advances tab. There's like a little note section underneath your character class.
No?
I think so, on your character sheet. If I go... I'm just going to look at Steph's character sheet quickly whilst you're doing it. I wonder if this will load in real time. Oh yeah, so see, Steph, what you've written here, you know that the steward of the village of Karstat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like a notes section, so you can write notes in there.
Cool.
That's where I put my note.
So it's a +10?
+10 on your next unusual learning endeavour to learn to read. Alright, who would like to take their endeavour next?
You know the I haven't saved it properly, but the extra magic stuff, did that have new endeavors?
It
or
did,
is it just...
yes. Hold up a second. Now, where were they? They
It was
were...
on my phone. It was on my phone.
Arcane activities, skills. Yeah, here we go. New endeavors. So you can brew a potion. You can gather ingredients. You can improve a familiar if you have a familiar,
Oh,
and you can perform a ritual.
Okay. So I can't do any of those, really.
No. The other
At the moment.
options that you could theoretically do, I think that's it. Hang on, there might be another one. There is another one that you could theoretically do. There is one called recuperation, but that is to recover from the effects of psychology.
Okay. Alright, So do any of us know what gromril looks like?
There's only one person who could answer that, and it's probably the dwarf, who's got law metallurgy.
Hey. Well, it's a good thing I had that discussion with what's his face, where he explained in great detail what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to know if I needed to do academics.
Or like a research test or something.
Yeah. The research law, if to find out or not.
Yeah.
If not, I'm just going to do an income because it makes the most sense. I can buy some gear for Oswald.
Yeah. Sure. Alright, you can do an income one endeavour if you like. Which I believe means you get 1 gold coin.
I roll 1d10.
Is it 1d10 gold? I thought it was just 1 gold.
Well, when I was reading the income thing earlier, it says you roll a d10 for every tier, but I might be wrong.
Pretty sure it's a D10 for every tier. Yeah.
No, you then acquire income determined by your status. See page 51. And I'm fairly sure, because I remember looking at this, for gold, if you're a gold tier, it is 1 gold crown per tier.
Oh.
So for you, it'll be gold 1.
Okay.
So you'll earn an gold crown.
Cool. That adds.
No tax fraud today.
And then Alrik, what are you doing? And if you say the latest news, so help me.
I honestly don't know what else I want to pick, though. I could go for income, but to be honest with you, we all know which way I'm leaning. I think I need to know what's the go. If you know what I mean.
Why don't you just do some combat training?
Well, didn't I already do that? Yeah, why not? Let's do some combat training. Why not? It makes more sense.
That's like one of the warrior specifics, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm a ranger,
Yeah.
so I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'll yeah, because I think it came in handy one time before, so I'll do it again.
Alright, what
I mean,
skill are you going to
choose
do?
the opposite. Look, it might come as a bit of shock to you.
Is it going to be melee two-handed?
I'm thinking melee two-handed.
Shit.
Go
on.
Yeah, so it's, where is it?
I'm surprised you would bother with that, in all honesty.
What did I
High as hell already.
Because it's so high. Because it says here, if you succeed, you may reverse a test with the associated skill once during your next adventure.
Yeah, so if I fail in combat, I'm like, nope.
What's the likelihood that you're going to fail in combat, though?
Low enough that I'm gonna do this. Because once I
Yeah,
get past that certain level of advantage, it's like, cool, we're in. But until that point...
Alright.
So it's reverse it, yeah?
Yeah.
So at least you could turn a 97 crit fail into a 79.
Yeah.
Still a fail, possibly, but it's not a crit.
Yeah.
Alright,
Exactly.
go on then. Make your roll, good sir. Challenging.
Do I just make the test with that?
Yeah, you just make a melee two-handed test.
Okay.
And if you succeed, then...
God help us all.
Yep.
Sir, God help us all.
Cool. Alright. Nicely done.
I'm ready.
I'll need to speak to Luke whenever he is able to join us for his endeavour. All right.
So the only thing that I'm gonna buy that's not common is I'm gonna try and get some healing drafts, which are scarce.
Okay, I think scarce is still like 95% chance of finding them in a city, so I'm going to say... Also, you know an apothecary, so I'm going to say
True.
it's pretty easy for you to come across them.
Alright. So I'm gonna buy a lot.
Sure. How many's a lot?
Well, they're 10 shillings each. I just spent 2 gold on a shield. And I had to buy a helmet, which I didn't write down how much that was. And then I'm going to spend the rest on as many potions as I can carry.
Yep.
So there's 8 for the skull cap, which leaves me with 7. So I can buy 4,
Okay. Sure.
which would bring me up to 6. Because I
Alright.
have a funny feeling I might need them.
Okay.
I'll say I spent the last 7 shillings on dry rations and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to spend all your stuff. I have no problem with... I'm not saying that you have to have spent all your money in
No.
between, so...
I don't know if we need to bother about spending money for rations or whatever. But I'm more concerned with carrying potions so we don't die.
Yeah, fair enough.
Always a bonus.
Alright, so... Is there anything else that anyone wants to do in the sort of 4 days downtime before you have to set off for the town? Oh, sorry, the Dunferta Castle.
I think I'm good because I've already talked to Dwarf Land about my heritage, so I really just want to go to these ruins. I think is the next step for me. Yeah.
I think the only thing I would do is maybe I would ask, what's her name? Hold on. I just need to look at my notes. Is it? Oh, it is Middenheim. NPCs. Janna, that's it. I'll ask Janna if she wants to walk with me when I do my rounds for the wards, and just chat to her about where we're going and if their guild or college has any interest, and if there's anything I should look for when I'm there and stuff like that.
Okay. So Jana accompanies you on your rounds and sort of mentions that, well, it's certainly interesting, and it definitely would be good for the dwarves of Middenheim to reclaim their ancestral hold. The Grand Guild has no vested interest or in seeing them return to their hold. It's not of great import to them.
I'll say I assumed as much, but I thought perhaps if there was anything of interest, artifacts or materials that the guild sought after, that I could keep an eye out for, I should ask before leaving.
No, I do appreciate that, but yes, there is no need for us to send any further assistance to the dwarves for this.
Not a problem. And then I'll just shoot the shit for the rest of the walk.
Shadow Steed of yours, does it go all the way underground? Oh, you bet your fat fucking dollar it does, Wizard Man.
I was just having a look. I think, am I correct in that 3 out of the 5 of you now have a horse?
I certainly have a horse.
I do not.
I forget what the trappings are.
I'm pretty sure you do. I think I just had a look.
I don't.
I get a light war horse, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you do, Nick.
Yeah, no, you're right, because that was my career advancement, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was the other thing other than the apprentice magical item and robes was the light war horse.
You're right, a riding horse and saddle. I haven't noted that down yet.
Yep.
And a mail shirt, which ironically is probably worse than my current one, but.
And I get the ride horse skill. Not that I have any advances in it, but I can. It is a career skill.
It is a career skill. Yep. All right. Well, I guess the 2 of you who don't have horses, or I guess the 3 of you, if you include Oswald, would need to either purchase horses or loan horses for the time being.
I might see if I can borrow one from the temple again.
Yep.
I could probably try and buy a draft horse or something, but I want to kind of save up, and I was sort of looking at I kind of want to try and get some of my trappings before I do my thing. I'm also not able to advance yet to the next thing, but also, I'll try and get some of my trappings.
Yep.
Beforehand, so I'll try and borrow a horse.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I will assume that.
Presume they'll let me do.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm assuming like I get mine from the college,
Yes.
and I'm wondering, do they also like have loaner ones or ones that I could pay to hire from the college?
Yeah, I think you could probably convince some of the higher ups to loan you a horse for Oswald. Lucian is probably able to acquire one from the Apothecaries Guild as well. So the lot of you all, and after your 4 days, you mount up. You've got all your gear, and you ride off east through the Middle Mountains. So let's
Going home,
Music,
mate.
Here we go.
in your own time. Come on. There we go. All right. So Dunferta Castle is all the way down here. So I actually measured this using the scale in miles
Yeah.
and my notes in the rulebook as to how far a horse can ride in a day.
Okay.
So it will take you 4 days of
Ooh.
travel.
Okay. Do we have rations of some kind? I'm assuming.
Well, can I get you all to make for me, please?
Yeah, I think I said I was from a town that was between Gladbach and Dunferta Castle, so I reckon I'm probably from like somewhere in a small town, somewhere around here.
Yeah,
originally.
somewhere within the barony of Holzbeck, I should think.
Yeah.
So, your first night, you will need to camp for the evening. So, can I get you all to make for me outdoor survival tests?
Average or
Yeah, average. You've been doing this a bit frequently now, so you're probably all right with it.
nope.
No.
No.
Nice.
I literally pull out a tent and I'm like, come on then, and my horse tramples it.
I'm gonna use a point of thing.
I'm gonna say Oswald does actually do that challenging because he's been in the town for most of his young life.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Cool. All right. So Wolfgang and Hiker successfully managed to get the party set up for the evening and bed down. No issues with that rest.
I roll an endurance.
I'm going to assume that you will have had enough sleep during the 4 days to recover all of your
yeah.
wounds. I'm not going to bother making you roll for that. That's fine.
I mean, it's hardly
I
like
feel
that I fail everyone, but thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I've been like praying in the temple and stuff all day.
Yeah, you'll be fine. If you weren't at full health before, you are now.
Yeah. Cool.
Um,
And I'm assuming you're going to say should we have said we were buying rations and stuff, or are you going to let us have had food?
I will assume that you have packed rations.
Yeah.
Your second night out, you actually stay at a roadhouse on the way, called the Jolly Halfling.
Nice.
That sounds fun, but does unlock a lot of traumatic past to come through.
It's a pretty cheap one. It only costs you about 6 coppers for a plate of food and a straw pallet for the night.
Right.
Nice. Wait, how much?
6 coppers.
This is a lot.
Well, you get a plate of food and a place to sleep.
Like for 6 coppers per person.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Currently, I have to pay for Oswald.
Come on, Oswald.
He ain't got no money.
Earn your keep, boy.
Yeah, he will by shielding me from death. And whether he dies or survives is up to him.
All right. The third night. Can you make for me, please, another average outdoor survival test, a lot of you?
Outdoor survival. Oh! Oh, astounding.
Marvelous.
Baffle even myself.
Marvelous. Who am I missing? Was it Steph?
Yes. Another outdoor survival.
Yes, please. Average.
Yep.
Okay.
Better than
Let's see.
impressive
What have we
failure.
got? We got 6, 7. That is better than the 6 fails. So that is an average of a pass. So I will say that this evening you end up having to camp again for the night. And then
I'm also gonna say, like, while we're traveling, like every night, I'm like teaching Oswald to like meditate and stuff like that to control the winds.
Yep.
I, in true Alrik fashion, upon hearing you say control the winds, will fart because
Because of course you will.
because of course that is what Alrik would do, just to be like, hey, control the winds, lad. Drinks flask angrily.
And I will say, as all dwarves, they cannot control their wind.
Hey, that is true. We can't do much with magic, but you know what? Who fucking needs magic, eh? I drink more.
All right. So
Sorry for the interruption.
It took a good 2 hours before the burn hits Ulrich. Like, wait a minute, control your wit. Wait a minute.
the final day's journey, you sort of late in the afternoon, sort of early evening, you arrive at Dunferta Castle. I have some notes on Dunferta Castle. Hang on.
Is Dunferta Castle in the mountains?
It's
Like
right on the
in a
edge of the
valley.
mountains. Yeah.
Like in a break.
Right, okay.
I mean, that's a pretty defensible position.
Yeah.
Well, imagine what Karak Khazarak is going to be like. Jesus.
Let's see.
And as soon as we leave this, we're basically in the territory of the orcs. Or not quite. Is that what that red line is?
The red line is the political border of the Duchy of Middenheim.
Okay. Yep.
Right. So up here is the red tusk orcs, but down here isn't?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But the ruins of Karak Khazarak, as you can see, are basically right within the territory of the Red Tusk Orcs. So
Yeah, which is just great. I love that.
Yeah.
Just love that.
Okay.
Sandwich between the forest goblins and the red tusk orcs.
Yep. Right. So Dunferta Castle. It's somewhat run down. Is owned by the Holzbeck family. And when you arrive there, there seems to be a fairly large and active military presence.
What's not bad?
Most of them are wearing the livery of Holzbeck, which is, if I remember correctly, it's sort of like a brazier with two sort of, almost like a bull's head, if you imagine it, with like the horns coming off to the sides. So the center of the brazier is like the bull's sort of snout, and the horns sort of protrude up off the edge of the brazier, and they are capped with wolf's heads. So most of the soldiers who are there are wearing the livery of Holzbeck, but there is a small, I say small, there is a retinue of Mindenheim State Troopers there as well. You recognise their uniforms. You've seen them around.
Do I recognise any of the people, the whole spec people at all? Presumably, I'm being a warrior priest. I might know some of them. I know I haven't specified a lot of my backstory here. Sorry, I'm kind of backstorying on the fly.
Make for me a law local test if you've got it.
Yeah.
Or failing that, law Middenheim.
Yeah. I probably only have Middenheim. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, I've got Middenland.
Yep. You can roll that. Average.
Sure.
You don't necessarily recognise anyone in particular, but a lot of the people there, they've got sort of, I guess, what's the words to use here? They've got sort of similar features to a lot of the people that you would have known growing up, whether they're distant relatives or if it's just sort of that's what people in this part of the duchy sort of look like. Yeah. No one you can specifically say, oh, that's such and such, but they look like, people from your area of the world.
Yeah. Cool.
So there's a group of soldiers there from the Midnight State Army. With that role, Alex, I'll say that you recognise them to be a specialised regiment from the Midnight State Army. You would recognise them as the Grimhagen Swordsmen.
Cool.
There is also a surprisingly large group of dwarves there as well. And not just generic sort of dwarven smiths or artisans or whatever, like dwarven soldiers.
Yeah, cool.
And you will also notice, who here has law warfare as a skill?
I believe I do.
I don't think I do.
I don't think I do either.
Cool.
I have language battle. But
No, I've got language battle as well, but not law warfare.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
In that case, it'll just be Alrik then, as you have law dwarves.
Hey!
You will notice that in amongst the dwarves, as some of them sort of move out of, sort of shuffling around as they are, they've got a cannon in their midst.
What the fuck? Is it of dwarven build? Or
Yeah,
is it
like a dwarven cannon on a little sort of cart on wheels.
What the fuck?
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
What are they planning here? They're just orcs gonna shoot them all the time?
Are they correct? Are these related to Ulrich? Are they dwarves that
No,
his
so-
clan? Or
so
are they just
I'm-
dwarves that are here to fight orcs because there's orcs nearby?
I spoke to my not my leader. What do you call him? The kind of elder guy, basically. And he said that there were notes of my clan being exiled.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
And then coming back, but then going to Karak Khazarak for.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was redemption or for something else.
You know your family went there, but you don't know if you're specifically from there.
Yeah, at some point we were part of Karak Khazarak, but we don't really know what happened. So
Cool.
we know that I don't have any debts paid. I mean, we know that all the debts were paid. There's no grudge held. And
Yeah.
they mentioned something about our greatest sorrow, but
That's right.
yeah,
You embarrassed yourselves or something.
something like that. Yeah. But we don't know what else is going on. So I want to know more about my history, but I also want to know more about that fucking cannon. What kind of orcs are we expecting?
And the thing that the Mindenheim State Troopers and the dwarves are all sort of staring at and marveling at is that riding in formation, as if they're on parade, is a very small group of 5 Knights Panther in full plate
Oh.
regalia.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
that's pretty cool.
I will give them a cheeky gang sign.
Nice.
They're eyes forward. They're not paying you any mind, but I'm sure had they seen, they would be most appreciative of that.
They saw in spirit.
They saw her in spirit.
I'm sure of it.
Let's see. Johanna, can you make for me? Oh, and Wolfgang, for that matter. Can you both make for me, please, a do you have an intuition as a stat? I don't think you do you?
I do.
I do.
Yep. Can you both make for me, please, a challenging intuition test?
Sure.
I can do my very best.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
Well, it's tight.
It's tight. Pretty close. Cool. Of the 5 or 6 of you, I should say, you two don't jump when a voice behind you suddenly says, "Yes, the Knights Panther are always somewhat majestic on display. Don't you agree?"
I agree. Very shiny.
Of course. They
And-
are noble warriors of Sigma and the Empire.
And turning, you will
And yeah, I'll turn around and
you
be
will
like,
notice that, unbeknownst to the party, a tall wood elf has appeared behind you.
Boo! Sorry.
Christ. I mean, dum-de-dum. Ah,
I was like in the process of taking my robes out, and I put
Yeah.
them back in.
what brings... Gosh, I wouldn't know. I to be honest, I don't say anything. I'm just like a bit kind of surprised.
Are you here at the behest of the Baron? I've completely forgotten his name, which is not ideal.
As have we all.
Baron Heinrich, there we go.
Yes.
That's it.
I should write
This is the Wood Elf that asked us this?
Yes.
Okay. I mean... I'm just gonna sort of be surprised by him.
Ah. You have not had many dealings with elves, I take it.
I don't know.
Well,
It's very unusual to see your kind this far north.
allow me to introduce myself in that case. I am Alevandro van Maris. I am the Graf Toddbringer's Huntsmaster.
And now it makes sense. Well met. I am Brother Wolfgang Wigmar.
How do you write that name?
Like this.
Yes, please do. I like this. Also, was it Baron Heinrich or something?
It was Baron Heinrich, yes.
Okay. So I have it for later.
Andrew, not even looking at it makes me angry. Huntmaster for the Graph.
And he says, "It's a pleasure. It is always interesting to meet agents of the Baron.
Of
He
course.
has sent me here also to provide my own unique insights into this endeavor."
It is a welcome addition. I'm sure your experience will help greatly.
One hopes so. I have, however, been told that I am not to set foot inside the ruins of Karak Khazarak, so as not to upset the dwarves, which I am suitably fine with. I have no wish to go underground.
I am nodding, very pleased with this decision.
But if I am able
I'm
to
sure
assist,
our traveling companion would be very glad to hear that.
if I am able to assist in the reclamation of the Dwarven Hold, well, that is a noble cause, I feel.
I will now take my robes out
Mhm.
and put them on as like when we turn to start approaching the castle proper.
So we're going to wrap up, I think, shortly. But what we'll do before we get there, so as you've probably gathered, we're actually building towards what's going to be quite a big scrap.
Yeah.
So there are actually a separate set of rules set aside for like warfare.
Is it called Warhammer Fantasy Battles 8th Edition, Ben?
It's not called that. Funnily enough, it does actually.
Called The Age of Sigmar.
It funnily enough does mention Warhammer Fantasy Battle tabletop miniature wargame in the rulebook here.
Does it?
It does. Yeah.
Interesting.
Incredible.
As a suggested
Yeah, it says here.
system that exists,
You could,
resolution.
your
you
character
could
is a
resolve.
hero.
Yeah. It says here the exact wording is these rules do not attempt to simulate an entire battle. For that, try Warhammer Fantasy Battle tabletop miniature wargame.
Amazing.
Oh.
Amazing.
So basically, how this works is that, I guess, in a similar sense to how with Lord of the Rings or with MESBG, Alex, if your opponents are like outbalanced by a certain amount, there's like, actually, I think it applies to Age of Sigmar as well. Like if your opponent has more points than you at the start of the game, then you've got like a sudden victory condition type thing.
Yeah.
Similar sort of thing in this regard. So we take the time, I take the time to determine the strengths of both forces, and then that will determine whether or not one or the other. And like as the course of the battle progresses, that will ebb and flow, and when one of them has more than 100 or 100 or greater, then the battle is decided. So at the moment, I shan't tell you what the scores are set at. We'll get to that in the next session. But essentially, what happens prior to this? There are a round of I guess, downtime activity endeavors that you do prior to a battle.
Cool.
Which
Influence the numbers.
will influence those numbers to some extent, yeah. And then during the actual battle itself, it's somewhat a bit more cinematic. Like, so there's like, I will set an arbitrary number of rounds that the entire fight, the entire battle takes. I haven't decided what that will be yet.
Yes.
But each battle round will start with me sort of describing what's happening in sort of broad strokes, and then we'll sort of cut into each of your characters doing something kind of cool.
Very
And then at the end of that, I will make a roll between the two forces to determine whether or not it immediately ends. And then there's a chance to regroup and heal, and then we just loop through that until we've completed each sort of the set number of rounds.
Cool.
And
So
as I said,
things
there's
like language battle become a useful skill at this point.
exactly, yeah, and like the
I might be
cinematic,
helping command troops and stuff.
yeah, and like these cinematic sort of scenes where we sort of like focus in on your character doing something cool. It could be they could be leading a charge, or they could be protecting the dwarves whilst they're reloading the cannon, maybe, or it could be that one of you has to go and like rally some troops who have their morale's weakening or whatnot.
Like I could do something like cast my dome spell over the advancing infantry to protect them.
Yeah, something like that.
Missiles
Exactly.
or something like that.
That's very cool.
There is also options. Like there's a few more like specific ones. Like say, for example, I don't know, Johanna. Maybe with your bow, you spot an orc warlord, and you're like, oh, I've got a clear shot at him. I'm going to make an attack, and if you succeed, you reduce the enemy's army power by 5, which normally every time you kill something, it reduces their power by 2. So it's quite a big deal, sort of thing. So what I figured we'd do now is we'll say that you have gone in to the castle and you've met with the three sort of... Oh, you've met Alevandril already. You meet with the three other sort of commanding officers, which are... I shall tell you their names. There is... Lieutenant Mikkel Ulriksson. He is the a lieutenant commanding the Grimhagen swordsmen. Despite their name, the Grimhagen swordsmen are not entirely comprised of swordsmen alone. They are a mixed unit. They have a group of swordsmen with sort of Zweihanders, some men with pikes, and a small group of men with crossbows.
Cool.
There is the leader of the group of Knights Panther, whose name is Sir Percival the Just.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know, right? He's a baller. Sir Percival's great. His skill list is an arm and a length lot. Is like an arm long. There's so many skills he's got. And, you know, he has skills like law heraldry, because of course he does.
Oh yeah.
Naturally.
And entertain storytelling.
Cool.
Nice.
One thing I thought was I really quite like is that all knights have trade farrier as a skill, which I thought makes a lot of sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
And then the final commander is a dwarven greybeard by the name of Birgil Ironbeard.
That is a good name.
Very cool.
I will
And
put
he
that.
obviously knows about cannons.
He knows a little bit about cannons. He's more of a soldier than an engineer, but he definitely knows a little bit about black powder weapons and whatnot.
Killing orcs.
He knows a bit about killing orcs for sure.
Sounds good.
Man after my own beard.
So what I figured would be a good thing for us to do at this point would be to let me just have a quick look. So you've got a number of options that you can do for endeavors. I think there are 6 that you can choose from. As per normal, you can only do 3 of these, a maximum of 3 of these endeavors.
Yep.
And that is 3, I think, for the party. Am I reading that right?
Oh.
3
okay.
Oh no! Sorry, 3 each. Yeah.
Okay.
And that will impact the overall outcome of the fight to come. So your options are scout. So a scouting endeavor requires a character to make a challenging combined ride and perception test to gather intel on the enemy army. A successful test will gain us a... you'll find out the power level of the enemy army. And you'll also gain...
Over 9,000.
It will be over 9,000, maybe. Who knows? And you'll gain plus 10 to the plan endeavor, should you attempt to do the plan endeavor.
Yeah.
If you fail, you'll either get the wrong information or you take too long and you won't get any bonuses. If you roll an astounding fail, there's a good chance that you get captured by the enemy.
Alright.
A good chance?
A good chance. Another one you can do is muster forces. So you can attempt to gather additional troops. This can be in one of 2 ways. You can either put out the rallying cry to the surrounding towns and villages to see if you can't gather like a militia type thing. Or you can hire mercenaries. If you're hiring mercenaries, there will be a cost associated with that. If it's just raising a militia, then there's no cost involved.
Actually.
The skill test that you choose for that, it really depends, depending on how it is you want to try and recruit these people. It could be bribery, it could be intimidation, it could be charm. You could use leadership maybe to try and inspire them. So that's
I'm
entirely up to
thinking
you.
I might try and do that and
Yeah.
route the countryside because I'm from here.
Yeah. So
And I'm a priest, so I might go and try and inspire the populace that way.
yeah, sounds good. So
Get some knowledge from them. We'll see what happens.
a base success for that, you increase your army's power level by 5. If you get an astounding success or greater, it's actually by 10.
Cool.
However, if you get an astounding failure, so if you get a normal failure, you don't gain any more troops. But if you get an astounding failure, the army's power actually is reduced by 10 because troops will lose morale and break or whatever.
Yeah.
You also have the infiltrate endeavor, which can be completed if one of you does a scout endeavor.
Yep.
You may then do a combined stealth and perception test with a difficulty that I will set. And you can then, if you succeed, you'll get a plus 20 bonus to the plan endeavor. If you fail, you'll be forced to flee or be captured.
Yep.
There is a sabotage endeavor, which again can only be undertaken if you successfully completed a scout endeavor. This is done using either a stealth test or an entertain acting test to get in and to pretend to be an orc or get in to sneak in and sabotage their stuff. If you succeed, you reduce their power by 5. Astounding success, it's by 10. Failure, similar sort of thing. You either have to run away or get captured. You can make an inspiring speech, which is a leadership test. If you get success, the army gets a plus 10 bonus to its power test for the first battle round. And then finally there is the plan endeavor, which so any character with at least 1 advance in law warfare may make an assist in this. If you roll a success, you get a plus 10 to all power tests done throughout the battle. And if it's a plus 6 success, then it will be plus 20. And this helps you determine where you're going to do the fight, what sort of strategy you're going to do, are there any tactics that we need to take advantage of, all that sort of jazz.
Yeah. Cool.
So, do we want to come back to do these at the start of the next one, or would you prefer to do these now?
Can you post these somewhere?
I can stick them up in Discord if you want.
Yeah.
And maybe you can have a read of them over the week.
Yeah, and then I reckon do them at the start of next session.
And then maybe we'll start the start of the next session with doing these endeavors, and then we can start the fight proper.
That's it.
Hell yeah. And then it all goes mid-hill.
Yeah.
It could go well. I've actually written information as to if you succeed or don't succeed. I have plans for both. These do
try and get some spare character ideas ready or something.
Just maybe. I mean, Hiker is future-proofing herself by having created an apprentice.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's true.
Very wise.
If I don't die, I sort of know some other ideas I'd like to do with my character. I might actually change careers briefly.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if I will use my apprentice.
No,
or if I'll just roll a new character, random one, I don't know.
Yeah.
But hopefully, it doesn't
But
go
also, I am a war priest, battle priest, or whatever. That's this is the battle. It's what
It is what you're trained for.
It's what it says on the tin.
Yep.
Exactly.
So
Beautiful.
Just
Cool.
realised I do have entertaining acting.
Brilliant. That would make
So
that makes sense for you as well, because the whole part of your character is to blend in with surrounds.
Yeah.
To be unseen. So.
And I have stealth, I believe, but it's urban. I don't know if that will actually help.
Probably not in the middle of the mountain path.
No, probably not. Did you see what I rolled for the talents for the
Oswald?
apprentice?
Yeah, he's got some
Yeah.
pretty boss talents.
I know. Sixth sense, lightning reflexes, very strong.
He's a baller.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He's just
He
a
should have been a
strong
warrior. Yeah.
He's pretty great. And then you gave him, I think, read write as well.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
yeah,
I figured he gets etiquette scholar from.
yeah, from Middenheim.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah,
set his
I was
doom
like-
as? Oh, you haven't yet.
Oh, I did roll it. I don't know what I didn't put it in. I just went to like a dooming
Oh yeah.
thing.
Cool. All right. Well,
Right.
shall we leave that there for the evening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Nice little
Yeah.
short
Very
one.
much.
Good
Yeah.
fun.
Good setup, though.
Yes.
I'm
I'm
Totally.
intrigued.
Yeah.
It should be good
Like,
fun trying
forward
something
at
a bit
all.
different with like a proper battle type thing rather than just a bit of a scrap.
What does what do they say in Lord of the Rings when the gates blow open?
You are men of Gondor. No matter what comes through those gates, you will stand your ground. And then
Yeah, I'll
four
say-
fucking trolls come through, and Gandalf's like, "Oh shit."
Oh.
Yeah, I'll say
Yeah.
some shit like that, I'm sure.
Ha!
So I rolled on the dooming, and the first thing that came up was fearsome engines belch forth fires of thy destruction. I'm like, oh god.
The cannon's gonna explode.
Is that cannon gonna misfire?
Oh no!
I do.
Really
I have got rules here for cannons. They are dangerous.
I'll make sure that he helps protect the cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What does it do? Damage plus 20.
I mean, that's a lot.
There's a lot.
That's like, if you get hit, you're...
I have 20 wounds.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't have 20 wounds.
No.
Yeah, I have 20 wounds and I have a large toughness bonus.
Yeah.
And I think I have resilient or X. Like I had bonuses to that too. You know, from what I rolled. And like, I mean, sure I've got armor, but like, I'm sure cannons ignore a good portion of that armor.
I'm pretty sure I lost a wound from something.
Was it corruption?
Was it removing the corruption? I can't remember.
I think so.
I only have 13.
Yeah, I think it was either. Yeah, I think it was the corruption.
Or was it Talon when I took it? I don't remember.
Because I know the only other thing I could think of is that you had started to create a familiar.
Oh, did I fail it?
I don't
Did I
remember you
not
actually
do it?
rolling to do one because I don't think
No,
you've taken
I
the.
didn't. I didn't. Maybe I didn't remove it, and I just thought I did because we were talking about creating a familiar.
Yeah, because if you create a familiar, you have to
Yeah,
permanently
right.
sacrifice a wound and a.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think it was a wound. Yeah, to make one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. So I didn't actually do it. I just have shit wounds.
I mean, you are a squishy wizard, so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's fair. My toughness is 33. It's all armor. If it gets from armor, I'm in trouble. That's why I have a tower shield.
I'm sure
Nice.
I'm cool